Welcome to another episode of the Speak Up Sports Podcast with Cass, Christian, Shad. How you doing, fellas? What's going on?
What's up, niggas?
It was
What's
good.
up?
Glad
What's
to be
up? We talking
back.
Super Bowl
Okay.
champs, baby. Let's
We
go.
got shotgun. We got shotgun.
Hey,
We got
okay.
shotgun. Hey,
I see.
the key pop was clean, though.
It was
Hey.
though. It was.
Shit everywhere.
I give you props for that.
But I mean,
I know you do. It'll be smelling like beer for a week.
it's gonna be sticky over there. But I mean, that's it. That's it. We already know the Eagles are officially Super Bowl champions, with Jalen Hurts being the Super Bowl MVP, beating the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. It was not that close of a game, even if that is even a close score. What did you guys think of the game? Obviously, the blowout. We can start there.
What sums it up was text y'all and said, "Hey, Kaz, I told you it had to be a blowout." Kaz's response was, "This wasn't a blowout. This was an ass kick." Like, I don't think anybody could have predicted that. I thought we were the better team, but it's just to see like the Chiefs couldn't do nothing. Like, I don't think I ever seen that outside of maybe Denver playing Seattle. But at the same time, Peyton Manning was older in his career. He did come off an MVP, but he was still an older person. Like Patrick Mahomes, like the Chiefs teams were beating teams, but we also said early in the year, a lot of their wins came by hook or crook. Be some random shit happening. They will stay in games, and that's why I believe that if we were to win, we have to blow them out. We can't keep them in the game. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes seeing ghosts. I mean, ain't nowhere else to put it. Like, our defensive line were getting pressure on them, but it was times where he had a clean block. He'll either just move real quickly or he'll step up right into the sack. And I mean, what a way for Jalen Hurts to play. I mean, I can agree that if all things were equal, the MVP probably should have went to somebody on the defense. If they could give it to the whole, they should have given it to Vic Fangio, because all we heard, he 0-8 against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and he just whooped their ass. But for the Chiefs to come out and for one or maybe 3 times this year, a team actually shut down Saquon Barkley, for them to come out and legitimately shut him down, but Jalen Hurts to make the plays to keep us ahead, can't ask for nothing else. Love it. Fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah!
Oh man. Usually I don't like Super Bowls. I don't like playoff games in general to be blowouts, right? I don't like them to be, so lopsided. But this one, I accept it because I know that if it was the other way around, it would be insufferable. No, shout out to the Eagles though. It was surprising, but also not surprising because the Eagles did have number 1 defense in the league this season, and I mean, I wasn't expecting the Chiefs O-line to crumble like they did, but they were very inferior to the Eagles defensive line. We saw some issues pretty much all season, especially from the tackle. You got Tooney out there playing tackle, and you can tell they don't need to do that shit no more. No more. Don't play around no more with that crap. Shout out to the Eagles defensive line, getting pressure all game with just 4 allows Fangio. That's exactly what Fangio loves, because then you got 7 back, and he likes to get creative with those coverages as well on the backside. When you get pressure with 4, the everything's open to you. And I mean, it was. I never thought that Andy Reid would be so outcoached in this game, but it happened. It happened, and they didn't get past midfield until the 3rd or 4th quarter. It was a demolishing. And then it doesn't help that the Patrick threw those 2 picks, one being a pick 6, one being in opponent's territory already, or being backed up in your own territory. Just one of the worst games I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes play. And it's funny because like all season, and I think we posed this question on here too. It's like, what do we need to see? Like, what needs to happen for us to stop giving him kind of like that benefit of the doubt and say, "Oh, that is Pat. It's gonna be." And to get blown out in the Super Bowl like this, nah, bro, you gonna have to come out next season with. You gonna have to do a lot next season. Like you can't be playing around and be like, "Oh, it'll be fine." The playoffs, we'll just snap into it. Like, nah, you got showing up, and it was good to see in a way, but surprising, yeah.
Number one, this is the thing that I love about Super Bowls and just championships and sports in general. But especially in football, just because you have so many players on the football team. But as you mentioned, Chris, Vic Fangio and Cass, you did as well. Like his crowning moment in the history of his career as a football coach was Sunday. That was something great to see. Obviously, Jalen Hurts, you could say the same thing about him, obviously being named Super Bowl MVP, having the game that he had and basically replicating exactly the same game that he played last time against the Chiefs, including having a turnover, which that one didn't this time it didn't come to hurt them. But everybody got theirs. Saquon had a couple moments. Devontae Smith had his touchdown. Obviously, that was the really the closer, very early closer. AJ Brown got a touchdown. Goddard got a touch. And it was a complete demolition of the Chiefs defense. And people want to say that they stopped their ability to run. They slowed down Saquon to the detriment of Jalen Hurts eating. Like at the same time, like Jalen Hurts just went and he had 72 yards on the ground, which I think last game in the last Super Bowl, he had like 80, 90 yards on the ground. Yeah. And so once again, and then Jalen Hurts, obviously, he played well, but I mean, Patrick Mahomes, aside from the pass rush, which was great and everybody's talked about it, they were just getting clamped, like straight up. And that to me, one of the biggest takeaways is this is what I expected the Ravens to do last year and really kind of what they did. Because if you remember, after those first couple of drives, the Chiefs couldn't do anything against the Ravens. It was just the Ravens selling. Yeah. And once again, my first thought was back to what I was saying about the Bills. Like, you've got to watch Vic Fangio as this, defensive guru just lock up this team that everybody we've been saying all year has really low talent. No disrespect to those players, but Hollywood Brown, you have to include as low talent just because from the simple fact that he hasn't played all season. Maybe next season with a full training camp, that's different. DeAndre Hopkins, he hasn't been there all season and he's getting older. He had some rough moments. Travis Kelce, they tried to do we can wait till, the end of the year, and he got away with it the first couple games, which even then, it was more so he found empty space and was able to get off. But it's time for the Chiefs to make changes. But the Bills, back to the Bills, it's like everything that you guys have done and you still haven't been able to put up a defensive performance like what the Ravens did last year, like what happened this year. Once again, Sean McDermott. That's like
Chris, how do you get back to
bro? Because Sean ain't lying. It just looked easy. Like we was talking about it with Sean.
No, you're right.
Why are you playing, man? We play zone the entire game for the most part. Like you can't cover them man to man, so switch it up, mix it up. Like,
and you didn't need to, obviously.
And even when y'all did play man, they was locked up because they can't beat. They really can't beat man. They was beating Kyer Elam.
You're right.
But the routes. Right. And if you go back and watch, if you want to say not man, maybe match coverage, however you want to do it. Yeah. But it's all of them. The thing that I've mentioned before is like the mystique of the Chiefs is really what's been beating these teams. The mystique of the Patriots of the old, the mystique of the Warriors. Teams always start to do some silly shit, and the Eagles, credit to Nick Sirianni, which nobody wants to speak about Nick Sirianni for real. Credit to Nick Sirianni is he doesn't have he has a I don't give a fuck attitude. If that's what everybody's been saying. Well, if we want to say that the team has, takes on the coach's attitude, we can say maybe they have, and that's what's led to well, I'm not going to say that's what's led to some of the fights because obviously they care. But they don't care about the Chiefs' mystique. They didn't care. They knew they could have beat the Chiefs last time, and they fucked it up, and they came back and whooped their ass. Now, Ravens, Bills, Cincinnati, I guess you can say to an extent, they knew because they came back in that regular season game that they could beat the Chiefs. So they knew once they had to come back in the playoffs, they could do it again. Now they have to really figure out if they can beat them because they've been getting an ass whoop for the past couple years since they said the Burrowhead, whatever. But all these AFC teams, that's where my mind went. Like, what if a team could whoop this team's ass this bad? And I know the Eagles were a great team this year. I know they were a great team this year. I mean, I picked them damn near every time, even just because of the talent, even though I had doubts about them.
I mean, you're right though. I mean, this Super Bowl kind of highlighted a lot of stuff where, like, even for the Chiefs, like, this is a pivotal time frame for them from here to the free agent draft to the first game of the season. Where, like you just said, Shab, you the Buffalo Bills, you the Ravens. We just played the Eagles this year. We knew where they stood at, and we played them probably the best out of everybody in general. Even, I mean, Marlon Humphreys, I know it'd be funny seeing him on social media, but he said it himself, like, I feel like the Eagles are the best team we ever played. They played this year. And it's like to see that team go whoop on them, like you said, Shai, like, it didn't mean nothing to them. Like, who are you? Like, we don't care. That's how I felt. And it's like, okay, shit. As the Bills, like,
the 3-peat panting,
and then, like,
that they got.
For the Bills, it's like, you just beat them in the regular season. Why you came to the playoffs and then play differently? Like, why does it take that to do
Tighten
that?
up.
And so I think, like, being on that stage and make it look like, I feel like if I'm the Bills, I'm the Ravens, I'm like, we whoop these niggas ass. Like, fuck all that. Like, and as the Chiefs, they coming from.
I think the Ravens would whoop their ass. So I think if the Ravens didn't sell themselves, I think the Super Bowl would have been Ravens Eagles. I'm not gonna lie, but they gotta figure it out.
You you say it's pivotal time for Kansas City. I want to talk about Travis Kelce for a minute, man, because you said it for weeks. You said it for years. Actually, for years. Yeah, years at this point. That he should be leaning towards retirement. If this don't show you that you really a detriment to that team at this point. If you sit there and watch every single Travis Kelce route, every single catch that he had, what he does after the catch, he's holding his team back at that position and blocking too. By the way, holding the team back at that position. He gets no yards after catch. He catches the ball. He's on his way down. Right. He tries to chip block, or he tries to actually block Josh Sweat a couple times. Just got ran right through, which is tough. It's tough. It's tough for a tight end, I get, but at the same time, Travis, like, there's some tight ends that can do better than that, buddy. You are holding this team back from a play calling standpoint, from a growth standpoint. They really already should have had his succession in place, really. So, like you said, it's important.
No, agree. They just signed back. I think that's his.
I know he is a tight end, but every time I see him, I think he's a receiver. Not saying he runs like a receiver, but it's just he never really be in line like that. But good.
Yeah, I mean, and there was a lot of 11, sometimes 12 personnel out there, but I just feel like Andy Reid just did not adjust well at all in this game at no point of it. And I was very shocked to see that from Andy Reid. And maybe they just didn't have the dogs to compete on that side of the ball, but that was a demolishing, like,
I mean, which is crazy because you think
it's tough to come back from.
The first play of the game was 11-yard reception by Juju for a first down, and they didn't get another first down to the third quarter.
Yeah,
and that's the other.
The run game's ass.
Even like for sake, the fact that the Eagles he got 52 yards, but he carried the ball 25 times. They just, even though they was getting stuffed, they was like handing the ball. It was like, it wasn't a point where we scored 17 in like the first 8 minutes or so. Like, we only had 7 in the first quarter. So it's like, why abandon the run? It's
Exactly.
like, that was your game plan? It was like, well, fuck the run, we could just throw. And it's like, well, you gotta switch it up something.
That was terrible game.
They got to figure it out. And I mean, they got to figure it out because they haven't been hitting on, well, let's not say that they haven't been hitting, but, obviously Rashee Rice getting hurt, changed some things up. Xavier Worthy got better throughout the season, but a lot of the stuff that he was used was, like I mentioned, behind the line of scrimmage, short stuff. This time, at the end of the game when, they got some deep stuff off to him this year, and we'll see how that goes next year. But, having to make trades like getting DeAndre Hopkins, having to, because Sky Moore doesn't work out, having to bring back Juju because, Hollywood Brown, obviously he got hurt as well, but, he wasn't necessarily doing too much either. So it's, the Chiefs got to figure it out. They got to change everything up offensively because Rashee Rice is going to be working his way back from injury next year. We have no idea how many games he's going to be suspended, if he's going to get suspended, however that works with his off the field stuff. So, they're really going to be banking on Xavier Worthy again. I don't know how that goes. I don't know if DeAndre Hopkins is retiring. I know some people got by a fake tweet, but we'll see if that happens. But the Eagles on the other side, I mean, they built their team. Now they've got a team that's gonna last. That I won't say that's gonna last, but that can last. Outside of I know some people have been talking about how they've had a lower cap hits for some of their top players, and there's gonna be a bill due at the end of the day in a few years. But they have brought young talent as well along with that. Getting Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean, who was hurt, Jeremiah Trotter, we'll see what he does. We'll see if they bring back Zach Bond. Basically getting three starting cornerbacks in the same offseason, essentially, and getting Isaiah Rodgers. Whether it's Isaiah Rodgers, Keely Ringo, or Eli Ricks, pretty much that occupies one spot. We know Cooper DeJean is cemented.
That boy.
He's cemented in Philly history now.
Yeah.
Period. He don't have to play. He's good in Philly forever. He don't have to play another game. And then Quinyon Mitchell as well, regardless of what Darius Slay does. We'll see. Reed Blankenship is still there. Obviously, we don't know how long they'll keep Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He seems to bounce around, but that dude crazy. Should stay with this shit. But
that boy is insane.
They tried.
That shit is...
everything would have changed according to Chauncey, man. But the Eagles, I mean, they're built to last, and obviously,
And that was with, to add on to that shot real quick, that was with $61 million in dead cap this year. So you were in the top, 5 or 6 in dead cap. Like you said, it's important to hit on your young guys. That makes all the difference. But yeah, they're gonna be around for a while.
Because they've got some key players leaving that could possibly leave this offseason with Zach Bond. Obviously, Darius Slay could possibly retire. Milton Williams, who made one of the big play. Josh Sweat. They've got some big pieces that could possibly leave, and they're still set.
I think they're going to sign Zach Bond back and Milton, and then let Sweat walk. Probably let. It's. I know, but they're going to try. I'm saying who they're going to try. They're going to try them two first. And if Milton might do a Javon Hargrave, how he right after the Super Bowl he went straight to the 49ers and gave him a bag, I would too. Yeah. But I think they're gonna try to get those two people for sure. And they let Josh talk.
You got to think of how Hassan Reddick feeling right now, boy. Hassan Reddick, Jason Kelce, tough.
So that's the part that Jason Kelce thing is another reason why I think Travis should go ahead and just retire, because you don't want to do what Jason Kelce did, basically come back and not even get close to where you were, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm definitely gonna retire now.
I'm telling you, I think if they would have lost last year, I think Travis would retire. but because they had the opportunity to get a three-peat, I think he came back. And I think it would have really been a question if they would have won this time because of the opportunity to possibly get a four-peat. I think he would have played it out all off season, basically see what type of pieces they can get, and then maybe come back.
But your boy Nick kind of said the same thing you said, Shy, as far as he felt like Travis like gave the idea that this would be his last ride if they would have won. But I know you
give speech to the locker room.
I 100% think I mean, you can see it on his face, and I bet that if you want to, if there's anything that can throw a wrench into a team that quote unquote never presses, that would be it. You know, getting a three-peat on top of trying to have one of the anchors go out on top. You know, for Patrick Mahomes, who was especially pressing outside of the D line, you know, that's some stuff. I don't, you know, I definitely feel like he went in there Saturday thinking that he was that nigga. Hey, I'm about to retire, y'all. Let's get one last one for your boy. And the niggas was like, okay.
have a cab punched in the mouth.
They got a bus.
Plus, they had Chris Jones on his knees on the sideline, but he was in disbelief. Man, that's just tough. That's tough.
Man, it's tough, but I mean, everybody in the AFC basically has got to look themselves in the mirror, and I mean, because everybody talks about these superhero quarterbacks, quote unquote, whatever, and you know, the ordinary guy. I mean, no disrespect to Jalen Hurts, but if you want to talk about ordinary of ordinary, a nigga that got benched for Tua is ordinary as it gets. No disrespect to him. I mean, for real, like the man got benched. He got benched because they basically said that he was holding them back. He was holding their offense back because he couldn't throw. He goes to Oklahoma, becomes a second-round pick. He basically only plays because Carson Wentz shits the bed.
Back, but he didn't want to be there, so they're like, all right, we just chose you then.
And then, you know, it's not Jalen Hurts he had a solid first year. You know, he obviously had a great second year. Last year was when they tried to throw it a little bit more. Wasn't great. This year, obviously, he had his trials and tribulations, including in the playoffs. So, I mean, everybody's got to look themselves in the mirror. Everybody's got to look themselves in the mirror in AFC, including the Kansas City Chiefs.
Facts. Good season, though. Congrats to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Chris living right, because the Celtics, the Eagles, both champions in both major leagues.
Bleeding green.
Oregon was number one all season until they got waxed. Chris living right.
Yeah, shout out to you, man.
You know, my team's number one this year in the NBA, so we're going to see. We're going to see.
Pivot.
But, you know, with that being said, before we sign off on the NFL, we got to get into the hot seat again. Who you guys got on the hot seat this week? Obviously, a lot of the people that we had on the hot seat showed up in the last week. So who you guys got this week and why?
I mean, you could go different ways with this one. Man, I gotta put John Harbaugh on this hot seat, and it's for pretty much the reasons we're talking about. We've been talking about this whole time. Like, I feel like for real, like as the owner, like you have to tell John Harbaugh, like, hey man, if you don't get this shit done this year, you gotta pack it up. Cause I mean, we done gave you what you need, in my opinion. The offense is good. The defense, they were you know, a little shaky beginning of the year, but obviously they got a new defense coordinator. But again, like we said, you just saw a team dismantle the Chiefs, and the Chiefs is supposedly, you know, AFC boogeyman. And so at this point, it's like, okay, you know where it starts, the trenches, man. Y'all like. That's where it starts. And y'all got a good offensive line. Y'all got a decent defensive line. So, like, you got to get your shit together. Like, you got to hit it out the park this offseason and be ready to take over the AFC at this point. Like, it's no more bullshit. Like, it ain't nothing else you can say. Ain't no more excuses. Like, it can be done. It for sure can be done. And you have opportunity. In my opinion, like I said, The Chiefs got some shit they need to fix this offseason. This is the opportunity to take over. What you gonna do with it?
And that last line is exactly where I'm going with. Brett Veach, general manager of the Chiefs. Look, and like we talked about a lot already in this podcast, but it's time to start getting serious about your team building from a holistic standpoint. The last couple of seasons, like you mentioned, Shai, with the trades for receivers and the band-aids that I mentioned, like with putting Tooney at tackle, it's time to get serious about building this squad out. It's time to get serious about that O-line, especially at the tackle position. You have to evaluate your farming system too, because like you've drafted tackles that just haven't been it. So do you go in a different position from that? Do you go try to trade? Do you? I didn't really deep dive into the tackles at free agency, but it's time to get serious in team building. And your defense has been getting by. You're coached by the great Steve Spagnuolo. So it's always going to. You have young guys over there, so it's going to be good. But at the same time, you gotta get serious about that too. You gotta be serious about your pass rush and the future of it. With Chris Jones getting older and older, he's still effective, but still getting older and older. Patrick Mahomes is turning 30 this year. I understand that quarterbacks play into their 40s now and all that, but at the same time, you don't know how long. There is the debate about droughts, of course, on first thing first. Like, is it going to be a drought for the Chiefs? Which may be premature. We'll see. But it's very possible that you don't get in this position again. So you got to keep surrounding your young-ish quarterback with talent and be serious about team building that's lasting more than a couple years at a time. I get it for these past couple years because you're trying to three-peat. You're putting Band-Aids on shit. You're just trying to trying to get back there. But now it's time to really deep dive into this roster and who you want to keep and how you want to build it. So Brett Veach, it's an important off season. You got to be on the hot seat. There's no way that you can't be, in my opinion.
Solid.
Who, Shane Steichen?
I'm putting the king on the stand. LeBron James.
Oh, okay.
On the hot seat. LeBron James, you have officially gotten new life. New life. You had an opportunity I think this year you still had a great opportunity pre-trade of getting to a championship with Anthony Davis. If they got a center, obviously Mark Williams wasn't going to happen, but they could have obviously gotten some pieces now that we've seen what some of those trades that did happen. But even now, Alex Len coming over there, Luka Doncic, you got Austin Reeves is continuing to develop the more and more. I mean, Austin Reeves is a player in this league, like a serious player in the NBA. You just mentioned first things first. Nick Wright went very viral at one point in time saying that Austin Reeves was a better number 3 than Bradley Beal. I don't think there's been a more correct take or a take that's gotten hotter. I mean, it's like better and better since then. But you have a team that can compete, and I look on the West. I'm not going to be no disrespect. I look on the West. There's nobody on the West that I'm like, this team is 100% going to get there. Like, the Nuggets are getting by Jokic being as great as he is, but Jamal Murray's been playing better. Russ has been all right, but you know what it is when it gets to the playoffs. Oklahoma City Thunder. We just seen Luka dismantle them by himself. We don't know what the hell going on with the Grizzlies in terms of Ja's health for real. Like, but you just smoke them every year. The Warriors are not getting back into it, so we ain't even going to entertain them. But all these other teams in the West, the Clippers, the Suns, I mean, whomever else you want to talk about, ain't no big dog in there. Ain't no Celtics over there. So you have an opportunity. Take advantage of it. You're on the hot seat.
All right, Brian. We gonna see. I like it though.
Yeah, we just gonna see. But that gives us a good time to switch gears into. Well, actually, first hold on. We gotta got to mention a couple things here. Obviously, following the Super Bowl, Kellen Moore has become the official head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Some other things that we need to mention. Josh Allen has officially gotten his first MVP trophy. I was 100% correct on that prediction at the beginning of the year. But, even though he probably shouldn't have won that, but Josh Allen got his first MVP trophy. Surtain became Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, Saquon won Offensive Player of the Year. No Chiefs that got any awards, obviously having the best record. Did you guys feel anything about any of the awards that were given out in any type of way, or was it just, they were?
Honestly, no. For me, like, I didn't feel any type of way about the MVP. I get it, like, and I get it from the voter standpoint where they probably just wanted to split that shit up and say, okay, you get a first team All Pro Lamar, we're gonna throw the shit to Josh. When I saw Lamar not show up for the award show, you already knew what was up. And Josh Allen's there with his fiance. You already knew what was up, so it was like, okay, cool. I mean, Josh got him one. Like a lot of people have mentioned, Lamar probably doesn't care that much about this, and it is what it is. Shout out to Kevin O'Connell, Coach of the Year. He did beat out Dan Campbell, who was my pick going into this season. So I was close. I was close on that. But Joe Burrow went a comeback, not surprised. Saquon, of course. So honestly, nothing surprised me from now.
Same way. I mean, obviously, as an Eagles fan, I'm gonna be like, oh man, I wish maybe Vic Fangio won Assistant Coach of the Year, but you can't argue obviously with Ben Johnson. So you can't argue that. I guess you can, but I mean, in a time frame where offensive prevails and everybody loves trick play, they don't understand the fact that our defense was ass last year and they went to number 1. So
that's what I was just about to say.
I get that. That was a hell of a turnaround, boy. That turnaround crazy.
The offensive lineman catching the pass, reverse throwback, all that extra shit. People like it, so I get it. Everybody else, they earned it. It wasn't nobody that was a slight or anything like that. Everybody was returned.
Yeah, man. Everybody that voted for Josh Allen to win MVP deserves to be fired.
No, if you vote, if you doing what
and I'm not saying that Josh Allen. If you made Lamar first team All Pro, and you voted for Josh Allen to be MVP, you do not deserve a vote.
That's exactly why they did it, though.
And
exactly why they did it.
And I'm glad that they released all the information about it and all the names. I think moving forward, they should. Number one, I don't know how anybody from NFL Network does not have a vote. That sounds kind of crazy to me, since they literally work for the league and work for that doesn't make sense. More of the film watchers, no disrespect to Emmanuel Acho. I know he says he watches the film, but he also does 1,000 shows. I know he's not watching all of them. So no disrespect to him, Dan Orlovsky, I think he does a great job, but his explanation, there's no way you can be the best quarterback in the league. If we're going to say basically MVP is a quarterback award, you can't be the second best at your position and be the MVP. Like that doesn't, no. Like, you can't be the second best at your position and be the MVP. That can't work. I don't care how close it was. I don't care that Lamar has won previously. It doesn't matter. You can't be the second best player in a given season. I know people might hear that and be like, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes was the best quarterback in the league. So no, Patrick Mahomes wasn't the best quarterback this year. He wasn't. We're not going to act like it. I don't care what his record was. Like, I don't care, if you want to vote Josh Allen as All Pro, the first team All Pro, and he was first team All Pro and won MVP, I'm all good with it. As soon as Lamar won first team All Pro, he should have been the MVP. No question. Like, all that other shit don't make sense. So I think they should continue doing releasing the votes publicly, and I think they should at least start doing some rotation. Because if we keep saying voter fatigue is something that's in that, well then let's do a rotation of voters Every year, it's a new set of voters. We have so many people that talk about the sport, that cover the sport in depth. So many of the, like I said, the film folks, the people that aren't paid by these major networks that do a really good job. Give them a vote. So, because half these major networks are picking off their shit anyway. That's why you keep seeing them slowly get added. Mina Kimes, like all these, Trevor Sikkema, if I'm saying his name right, like all these guys that are being added to ESPN. Why? Matt Miller became the draft guy at ESPN somehow. Why? So, yeah.
Fair point. But it's all politics with that. Like they went into the voting process, those particular individuals saying, "Oh, we don't know. Okay, we're gonna just split it. We're gonna give Lamar first team All Pro. We're gonna give Josh MVP." And the fact that they can do it, they did it. So going forward, there probably should be a change, but yeah,
that shit is stupid. Like that sympathy shit is whack. Like that fucks with people's legacies, because at the end of the day, that's gonna be, that's gonna be once again, no disrespect to Josh, because like I said, I picked him to win it. That's gonna be a notch on Josh's Hall of Fame resume now, where he didn't have a really, he had a very good resume, but it wasn't a Hall of Fame resume. Now people are gonna start arguing that Josh Allen should be a bona fide Hall of Famer because he's an MVP. And I'm not saying that he should or shouldn't be, but that affects legacies. Like, look, Lamar being a 3-time MVP looks so much different. I'm sorry. So, like, you can't. The same shit with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid got a sympathy MVP. Y'all talked all that shit about Jokic. Jokic been dominating. He been the best player in the league, or second best player, one or two between him and Giannis. And now y'all want to dog Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid ain't shit. Why? He been the same nigga. He ain't changed, nigga. Like, fuck. So, but man, let's get into the NBA. Obviously, the great thing about the Super Bowl coming, it brings the NFL. Well, first of all, we talked about it a little bit last week. The NBA did a really good job of kind of taking the narrative over, because the Super Bowl was not talked about really at all last week. There was no narratives talking about Travis Kelce and him possibly retiring. There was nothing really to talk about at the Super Bowl. NBA took it over with trade deadline, and now this week they position themselves to have All-Star break immediately following the Super Bowl. We will see how that goes for them, but we got the dunk contest. We got the dunk contest. We got the 3-point contest. We got the Rising Stars Challenge. We got a 3-team All-Star game, which, they've changed again. What are you guys looking forward to during this All-Star weekend?
I'll tell you what pissed me off about that whole All-Star picking team. So, of course, they labeled it as, Shaq, Chuck, and Kenny are drafting these players, right? They did this whole, and they released this whole 24-minute video of the draft. That was the most obvious fake draft I've ever seen in my life. And like, it's honestly doing a disservice to fans that don't pick up on shit like that. And they think, yeah. No. And then you go out and label it. They labeled this shit. Shaq's, hold on, I'm gonna read the shit exactly. Shaquille O'Neal's OGs. Charles Barkley's Global Stars will take on Kenny's Young Stars. So you had this shit already written, and you told these motherfuckers who to draft. That really pissed me off, because like, why are we doing this whole song and dance, this whole charade? Like, you're sitting there drafting these players, like you just leaving Kevin Durant on the fucking board into the 7th round of this draft. Like, this bit, like, that's what pissed me off about that shit. We'll see how it makes sense. The teams make sense. I get it, because people have been asking about. Because I mean, from the fact that people have been asking about, like, what if we do like the Global Stars versus the U.S. So it makes sense that they would go ahead and make it that way in a way. But like, that draft was a whole charade, and I was just like, y'all dead ass just acting like y'all picking these players in the real like snake draft. This is ridiculous. So anyway, I'm not looking forward to any part of it, to be honest with you. So low expectations. Hopefully, I get surprised.
I'm hoping that it's some competition out there. You know what I'm saying? I just want to feel like niggas are trying a little bit. Like, it's gonna be tough to ask for that because I mean they haven't made it. They haven't made it like a point for people to actually care about it, but that's what I'm looking forward to. Like, I miss the times of just watching the dunk contest, watching the 3-point contest, the skills challenge. Like, now it's just like they just going through the motions because they just got to do it. Just make me feel. Just lie to me. Just make me feel like y'all give a fuck. That's. But nah.
They got your boy Matt McClung, boy. Matt McClung.
Well, I think I am a little interested in the dunk contest because we do, at the very least, we do got some young stars as well as Mac McClung. Well, I don't want to say stars, young players. Stephon Castle, could potentially be a star. He's been, playing really well, especially as of late. He's pretty much since he's been named the dunk contest to be in the dunk contest. The nigga been putting down some
like instantly
some
dropped
crazy
24
11. I didn't see this nigga dunk before this, but all of a sudden this nigga doing windmills and all this.
He balling.
Obviously Matt McClung always puts on a show, and then Buzelis, I mean,
sleeper.
I think he is a sleeper. That nigga, he got a little confidence in himself. Hey, he's got some bounce, so we'll see. But one thing is I was looking at the NBA website prior to. They don't even have the dunk contest participants or the dunk contest like on the main All-Star page, like at all. Like I had to go back to Google to like go back and find it.
And it used to be front and center. That used to be the event. I'm old enough to remember that.
How many people? And that's why I wanted to make note of it being directly after the Super Bowl, because how many people really know that the All-Star break is this weekend?
It's snuck up on a lot. It's snuck up on a lot of people too.
Trade deadline. Yeah, true. But
it's getting further and further. I don't know. Sorry to cut you off, but I was looking at the next 3, and it's like February 8th next year, and then it's like February 13th the year after that or some shit. I'm like, damn, this shit getting. What are we doing? What are we doing?
They trying to strategically take a little bit more and more of the year.
Yeah.
So you're always talking about it. And, that's why I said it was smart of the NBA. Well, I don't know if the NBA purposely did it, but having the trade deadline the same week of the Super Bowl because this was a pivotal trade deadline, kicking off with the Luka Doncic trade. But, like I said, I don't know if a lot of people know that the All-Star break was this week. This is supposed to be the end of NFL Super Bowl. All-Star break is supposed to be the NFL Super Bowl week. So how many people are talking about it? How many people are going to really be there like normal? Like, maybe we start hearing more and more about it Wednesday, Thursday, but you look at some of these major shows like, a lot of these folks are off like the week after the Super Bowl. Like they're off these shows because, they just spent all week talking about the Super Bowl, all week in New Orleans. They got all their replacements and they on vacation. So NBA's got to show out this week. Again, they're on the clock. Or at least, even if they don't show out an All-Star, the rest of the season has to be good. Right now, we've got, it's a pretty good race in terms of the standings on both sides. Like, the 1 seed as of now for both sides looks to be probably out of question just because of the lead. But, from second, obviously getting into the 8th seed or really, I guess, the 10th seed on both sides, it's pretty close. The Lakers are playing well. They're on like a 6-game win streak. The Nuggets are on like a 7-game win streak. OKC's on like a 6-game win streak. So,
I feel like that's just the West. I get what you're saying standings wise, but just seeing the teams, especially in the East, playing each other, like it's literally only Cleveland and Boston. The Knicks, they be beating people, but when they play the Boston and Cleveland, they get their ass whooped. Milwaukee, Giannis is hurt. Sixers, they ass. I just feel like at least the East. I say at least the East, it just feel like it's literally just the top two. And I feel like it'll end like just like that.
But
in my opinion.
I think it probably will, but I'm also like I can't just not. Just the same way, like I said about the Nuggets, like when I'm talking about the Lakers, if you want to, you can't just discount the Nuggets because they have Jokic. I can't just not say the Bucks.
Oh no, but that's why I brought up he's hurt though,
and like at the end of the day.
Okay,
I'm saying, but I'm talking about more in the playoff matchups. Like if Giannis want to make shit shake,
he dominant, yeah.
It starts getting a little. It's like, okay, I don't know. But at the end of that same breath, like you got the Magic are like 9 right now. The Magic would be a tough team to play in the first round. The Hawks, for some reason, they give the Cavs and the Celtics.
That's
really
true.
some problem.
That's true. They be
getting the Knicks.
And the Knicks. I mean, Trae Young is good, but I mean, the Knicks right now the matchups would be Cleveland, Hawks, Heat, Celtics, which
belt
that doesn't change. Well, I don't know. Wiggins, yeah.
Nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
we're not doing that.
Wiggins.
Knicks, Pistons.
The Knicks and Pistons would be a very good series, in my opinion. Big Cat. What he do?
It is so damn serious.
There you go. It don't get more funnier than him, bro.
Then we get the rematch of the Bucks and Pacers. So I think that would be a really good. I mean, that was supposed to be a good series last year. It was a solid series, but obviously no Giannis.
Yeah. And then on the West, look, and we talked about it last week with the Luka trade. You got the news that AD is out for an extended period of time now. Brian Windhorst said today that not expected to get surgery, but it still is going to be weeks on weeks. Look, Dallas is the 8th seed right now, and they just lost all. They don't have any other centers right now, which Gafford will be back soon. I get it, and probably Lively. But if y'all don't make the,
I also think it's good. I do think it's good. While AD, they should have probably waited till after All-Star break, both the Lakers and really the Mavericks to have them play. But if AD is supposed to miss weeks, he's got this week, which he got hurt like Saturday, Sunday or something. Saturday. So he's got all this week. All next week's basically a wash. What's the next game, like next Thursday or Friday or something like that? So, that's basically 2 weeks.
You're already an 8th seed though, but you gotta. And then when you come back, you press in more. Look, it's very high. It's a possibility that Dallas does not make the playoffs.
It's tough.
And that fan base is already rioting and shit. If they don't make the playoffs this season,
I think they will. Though. I mean,
they probably won't make the
can
playoffs.
Catch them? Sacramento, maybe Golden State. We just said they trash, and then. I mean, but
catch them,
just how they've been playing in Phoenix. Like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, they
Spurs.
The Spurs.
They still lurking.
I think the Spurs could still go.
Spurs is 2 games back in the loss column. All right now. All right.
Yeah, but they 5 games under 500.
Yeah.
And Dallas is 2 games over 500.
They got a lot of games.
I mean, I ain't. Hey, look, I ain't capping for Dallas now. I'm ass. I'm just looking at I'm just finally looking at the bottom of the standings. And I'm like, there's some weird shit going on.
They could justify that. Hey, we weren't going to make the playoffs regardless.
What do you say, Shaq?
They could justify it by we weren't going to make the playoffs regardless. We already missed the playoffs 2 years ago any fucking way. So don't try to be like, oh, we weren't going to miss the playoffs with Luka. Like we were already asked because this nigga was hurt. If they really wanted to spin it. But, it is funny because niggas ain't been talking about Jason Kidd, even though Jason Kidd is like a thief of the night. that nigga definitely is in cahoots. And they all acting like they sympathetic for that nigga. Nah, he wanted that shit too now.
Yeah.
But with that being said, the matchup right now would be Thunder Mavericks, which, if AD is back, it'd be interesting. Timberwolves Grizz, which is the one probably everybody want to see for real. Nuggets Clippers, and then Lakers Rockets.
Memphis and Wolves, that'd be a bunch of bullshit and highlights. Bunch of nasty basketball highlights.
If John's healthy.
Bunch of yapping, boy. Bunch of them post-game locker rooms would be crazy.
the shit that's crazy is where do the Pelicans go? Golly,
bro.
golly.
So we got a torn. It was Achilles. DeJounte Murray. You trade away Bi. Y'all at 12-41. Zion is actually playing well, considering. I mean,
which kind of makes the Dallas trade
dropped 40.
crazy when they talk about weight when you got Zion over here and them niggas like, well, we gonna keep him. Fuck that.
Because niggas probably.
I guess you're right.
Who traded for him?
Like that big freak ass nigga. I don't want that.
No, it's a little bleak for the Pelicans right now, for real. They're gonna have to. I don't know, to be bottom feeding like this. Like, you got a Trailblazers out here looking more competitive, way more competitive than y'all. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. The Jazz are just, I don't know what the fuck they gonna do. They 3 years away from being 3 years away.
Hope and pray. Hope and pray.
Yeah.
Man, that gives us a wrap. I honestly wish that NFL free agency was.
I need to see what I need to see it.
It'll be here before you know it. Though.
I need to see it.
What
we gonna do?
It's fly. Like,
it's a lot of shit
that's going. It's a lot of shit. We already got another trade with a lesser known player, but I mean,
we got trade request.
Trade request.
Yeah,
trade request. So it's coaching changes.
We gonna
start hearing about the releases.
Who? Fuck no. Nah.
Oh, didn't even mention Debo.
I thought that's who you talking about. Who you talking about?
I'm talking about Jermaine Pratt.
Yeah, that's why he said.
Jermaine Pratt. Nah, yeah, Debo. I thought he just meant like he is a lesser player now.
You're right, Cam. You're right.
Hey, Debo be eating when I see.
Hey.
Except for at that game that he was talking shit. He wasting the ball and shit.
Nigga look like he don't give a fuck.
You gonna see it. Hey, no shit about the shake though, Chris. We got the combine in 2 weeks. It's in 15 days from today. That shit gonna come before you know it. And that's when all the rumors of shit gonna start. 2 weeks after the combine, that's when free agency. So
question for y'all: you think they
gonna
like that? Sign T or they gonna let him go?
Absolutely gonna resign him. No question.
I think you have to at this point.
Joe Burrow.
No question. His little media run, I don't know how effective it is. I don't think it really did much, but it was funny to see how him going literally every show.
I don't think it did much.
No, I don't think it did much at all.
Carson Palmer literally sat out. And they didn't do shit. They traded his ass. I'm not saying that Carson Palmer is Joe Burrow, but I mean,
leadership still is leadership. Nah, yeah, it was funny to see Joe Burrow just going like and it's all prompted. They told them what to ask him, and it was all. But I get it. But yeah, they got to sign for T. Higgins, I think. But again, you can't neglect that defensive side of the ball.
Shit,
if you're Cincinnati.
So some folks, they about to lose Jermaine and Trey. They out of there. That defense is nasty. That defense is. Lou?
Yeah, I don't know. That's nasty.
Queedy Pay.
That's nasty.
Get sent back over there.
Oh man. They can send us. They can send us Trey. We'll give them Kyle. We'll give Kyle some picks.
Trey and D-Buck. Okay.
They don't want Kyle Pitts.
Hey, guess what? They will change Kansas City Chiefs line. I tell you that. They'll whoop their ass.
Nah, we gotta see what Mexican OT do.
Yeah.
With that being said, it gives us a wrap to another episode of Speak Up Sports Podcast.
Crazy.
We will catch y'all next week.
Can you get an almost sack? All right.